Good evening, America. Happy Labor Day, and welcome to the latest edition of Just the News, No Noise. I'm your host, John Solomon, here with my amazing co-host, Amanda Head. And to all whose work makes this country work, we salute you. We hope you've been having a great day, and we appreciate you spending a few minutes with us. Amanda, I've been through a lot of Labor Days in Washington, but it's the first time I think I can legitimately say that there is a manufacturing renaissance on the horizon. You can begin to see it, whether it's mining, which we haven't been doing for a long time, expansion of energy, oil rigging, gas drilling, pharmaceuticals, automotive industry coming back, making it big in Michigan and other places. We had an outsourcing era of 30 years, and I feel like 2025 is a year where the dial turned back to, hey, we're going to insource and manufacture. And on this Labor Day, that could be one of the most exciting things. If you're a parent or grandparent wondering, what are my kid and grandkids going to do? They're going to get a good job. That's the opportunity that lies ahead in this economy.
Yeah, you know, it has almost an industrial revolution feel to it, because it seems like there are so many new things on the horizon, new opportunities for Americans to get involved in the workforce. And we can talk about this at the end of the show. AI, absolutely. And we can talk about this at the end of the show because probably don't have time at this point. But last week when I sat in on that cabinet meeting, stood in on that cabinet meeting for 3 hours and 40 minutes in 3-inch heels.
3-inch heels, I can attest that I saw it.
I stood in on that cabinet meeting. It was so interesting to hear, number one, each of those cabinet members tried to claim that their department had the best things to say about Labor Day and the best contributions to Labor Day, but also just talking about this revolution for our country in creating new jobs so that it is truly a holiday that recognizes labor, but also that innately American grit and hard work and tenacity. And I love that.
Destiny started with a lot of hard work, and on this day, it's something we can all celebrate. And if your teacher told you hard work doesn't count, don't listen to them. Hard work makes a big difference, and it's what this country's on. All right, man, you know something I never did? I never went to the White House in 3-inch heels. I didn't.
It's a good thing.
But at the end of the show, if we have time, I will tell you about a very bad shoe incident I had at the White House, and we can share it with our audience and make them laugh on the way out.
No, you were going to say at the end of the show, if we have time, you can try on my 3-inch heels.
I will not. No, that's just not my thing. That was J. Edgar Hoover's thing, not mine. That's not mine. Sorry. Now I just insulted all the FBI agents in the world. All right, folks, I better stop there before I get any more trouble. Earlier, we had an incredible chance to speak to President Trump's manufacturing and trade chief advisor, Peter Navarro. We had a great interview. Take a watch. Joining us now, one of President Trump's closest advisors when it comes to economics, trade, and manufacturing, and the author of a brand new book and a great friend of the show, Peter Navarro. Peter, good to have you back on the show.
John, my brother, what's going on, man? I like that tagline, just the news, no noise. I like that.
No news. All news and no noise. That's what we're always working at. We're trying to do what the media stopped doing a long time ago. You have a great title. Speaking of great titles, you've got a brand new book. I went to prison, so you don't have to. It's a line from your famous speech at the Republican National Convention last year when you got right out of prison and came right to Milwaukee to get the president over the finish line. This is going to be a major book. Tell us what we're going to learn from it.
Well, it's a couple of books within it. Obviously, the most common question I get now is, what was it like to be in prison? Certainly, I answer that. But what was really interesting, because prison books in many ways are a dime a dozen, I went in there just to do my time, and I wound up discovering a $5 billion scandal, John, with respect to lack of enforcement of one of President Trump's signature pieces of legislation, which is the First Step Act, which was designed to stop the costs, essentially, of over-sentencing nonviolent felons. So I go in there, I'm the only guy, misdemeanor with a bunch of felons. But I quickly discover that there's just a lot of people in there who his time to be out of there is long gone, but they're still stuck there because of the way the Bureau of Prisons is being run. And it's like, that's not a good thing. That's not smart on crime, because when you keep people inside too long, they lose their job skills. They learn how to be a better criminal in many cases. Their families have to stay on welfare. And if they're not working, they're not paying taxes. So when you add that up, it's like $5 billion. That's real money. So I was able to to work through that. And now on the outside, as it were, I'm actually fixing exactly the problems I identified in a way which will save us that $5 billion. So there's that story within there. This is a love story. There's the story of my fiance, Pixie, I call her. That's her nickname.
Right.
And
yeah.
What's interesting about that whole story is simply the lesson that it's not just the people who go in prison who do the time; it's their families that do their time. And she and I would sit in the visitor center on the weekends and see all these families. These guys would be in. They're looking at 10 more years, right? And their kids are like 6 years old. They're not going to be out till their kids like 16, and it's just unfathomable. So I think it's a good look inside the prison system, how it works, how it doesn't work, and how it solves it. But the other thing it talks about is how I got there. That's where we get into the weaponization. I mean, I am the only senior White House advisor ever to be charged with contempt of Congress, much less go to prison. And nobody ever should be charged with that because according to the doctrine of executive privilege, which goes back to George Washington, 50 years of Department of Justice policy, you can't subpoena guys like me. Why? Because you want to preserve what's called confidentiality and candor in White House communications between people like me and the president. And that's sacrosanct. It's written in stone in Supreme Court dicta. And one of the stories I tell is about this FBI agent named Walter Giardina. And he's the guy that instead of coming across the street and arresting me, I literally lived across the street peacefully, or calling me up and say, hey, surrender today down at the courtroom and we'll book you in and take care of that, which is the common practice 99.9% of the time for white collar criminals. He and 4 other armed FBI agents waylaid me and my fiance at Reagan National Airport, put me in the handcuffs, put me in the leg irons, perp walked my fiance, and did all of that. So this guy is like, he sticks in my mind. Now, fast forward to now. With the help of Senator Chuck Grassley, we have uncovered a pattern with this particular agent, which basically explains to the general public exactly how and why the deep state, the Bidens, and before the Bidens got in there, attacked Donald John Trump over a period that extended from the campaign in 2016 all the way to the day Donald Trump took office for the second time. It's just a sustained campaign. Let me walk you through that, John. This guy, Walter Giardina. And the reason why I took a deeper dive on this is because Kash Patel, the FBI director, just fired the guy, and the media wants to make him a martyr. Well, let's think about that for a minute. You tell me if this guy's a martyr. Starts off with what's called the Steele dossier in 2016. That was the fake thing that Hillary Clinton cashiered and got in. And Giardina, according to whistleblowers, everything I'm telling you is based on whistleblower allegations collected by Senator Grassley. What Giardina did was he was like one of the first FBI agents to say, hey, this is cool, go forward with it. Gave it his blessing. Think about that. And that begat what was called Crossfire Hurricane, which was a whole investigation into the so-called Russia hoax, which was a hoax. No question about that now. So he's there. Then at the same time, simultaneously, there's this other operation called Crimson River, a.k.a. Red Masari, that he allegedly was working on. And this was the false claim that the Egyptian government gave the Trump campaign $10 million. But what it was a license to hunt Trump. So he's involved in both of those things. And then we go, and he goes and gets appointed to work on the Mueller report. So he's there, right? And mysteriously, everything on his laptop is erased, shades of Hillary Clinton. And that's the kind of thing he did. So he's there. And at the same time, he pursued another thing called the Emoluments Clause, which is a law that says you can't take favors or money from foreign governments or political actors. And so they use that to go after Trump and Pence. And then Arctic frost comes along, and that's the whole post-J6 event in the so-called fake elector scheme, which wasn't fake at all. It was just using the Electoral Count Act of 1887. Giordano's there. And John, that one hits me really personally because it not only attacked Donald Trump, but it also took down a lot of my friends, right? You had John Eastman, Jeff Clark, those two guys. I mean, those guys are rocks. They're just decent people who were doing their job. And that Operation Arctic Frost inflicted tremendous harm on them. Rudy Giuliani got cut up, and that Jenna Ellis, people who worked for the president. And then of course, Giordino, he's the guy who went after me, handcuffs and things. He gave me the subpoena. He testified at the grand jury to get my indictment. He put me in leg irons and handcuffs. And after that, he testified at trial. And so this guy is bad news. And if you want to understand what the deep state and Biden and the Democrats have done to weaponize our government, all you need to do is understand the story of Walter Giordino, which I tell partly in I Went to Prison So You Won't Have to, the new book. It's coming out, by the way, John. It's September 16th. You can pre-order it now on Amazon.
All right, folks, we're going to have more of our exclusive interview with Peter Navarro next. But first, we have to take a quick break. We'll see you right back here in just 2 minutes for the second part of our interview with the one and only Peter Navarro. We'll be right back. Hey, folks, a new administration in Washington, D.C. has brought lots of positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. The reality is, however, that there's only so much the government can do. And if we really want to make America healthy again, that starts at home with each and every one of us, myself included. Could your health issues be caused by an invisible enemy? Fatigue, bloating, brain fog? What if parasites are the real culprit? Did you know 60 million Americans apparently have parasites? They're everywhere in our food, water, and pets, secretly invading your body and wreaking havoc on your gut, energy levels, and even your brain. And big medicine doesn't want you to think about this because one good cleanse could change everything. Our friends at the Wellness Company have a real solution, a gold standard parasite cleanse combining ivermectin with mebendazole, 2 FDA-approved medications. It's prescription-based. Just fill out a quick medical intake and get a 3-month supply shipped to your door. Go to twc.health/justnews and use the code JUSTNEWS to save $60 plus free shipping. Go there right now.
Real America's Voice is a news platform dedicated to keeping people informed.
Welcome to the Democrat-run cities of America. Yes, he killed her.
Headlines from here in the U.S. and around the globe.
The world is reliant on China, and that's just how China wants it.
Full coverage of live events.
They become stars fairly well. We won the election twice.
Real news, honest views, real America's Voice.